That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 50 with Mike and Alex. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for downloading the podcast. And thank you guys for listening. We have reached the halfway point of the NBA season. We are recording this on a Thursday night after the New York Knicks defeated the Detroit Pistons. So we are at the All-Star break for both the Knicks and the Nets. And Alex, it's crazy that we have gotten here after doing so many episodes over the summer where there was the pandemic in full effect, no games to talk about. And now here we are halfway through the NBA season, Knicks and Nets both in good places respectively. And it's just been kind of fun to talk Nets, talk Knicks, talk Knicks, talk Nets, and have a lot of content, a lot of games to get into. So Alex, how are you doing? And hell yeah, we had a good first half of the season.
Right. And if we had talked about when we started this podcast about a year ago, if we would have said at this time next year, the Knicks would be over 500 and the Nets would have James Harden, we both would be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, right.
You shut up. Like, why are you like making things up? So it's just incredible, but the real topic of the day is, who is the real Melo? Is it LaMelo Ball or is it Carmelo Anthony? Do you want to discuss that?
Oh my goodness. Great. I have no into going into that topic. I'm 37 years old. And at this point, no, that is not, is that a real topic?
Oh my God, dude! And
I don't understand
who's the real. It just reminded me of who's the real LT, LaDainian Tomlinson or Lawrence Taylor. I'm like, it's their fucking initials. It's just like it's LaMelo's name and some Carmelo. I'm just like, I didn't want to. I just know I saw that going around this week, so I wanted to bring that up because I know that's like right up your alley.
Yeah, you know me well. Stay away from Twitter and all that kind of nonsense. So the Knicks get a win tonight. They defeat the Detroit Pistons. Mm-hmm. They go into the All-Star break a game over 500. Right. The Nets go into the All-Star break having won
a million. Yeah,
lost track. 10 out of 11. They defeated the Houston Rockets in Houston. The Rockets,
of course, they lost to the Mavericks the one game.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if I had to pick one team to lose to, at least it was that.
Everybody's like, I don't need to play this one. Let's screw over the next one.
What's funny though, Alex, is I forgot, right? Like when Porzingis was on the Knicks, he was so annoying to me, and he got on my nerves so much. But then what had happened was he went to the Mavs, and I don't personally, what do I care about the Dallas Mavericks? Yeah, there's no way. The Mavericks are inconsequential to me. Just like another team out west, and to keep an eye on the scores or whatever, just to keep up with the league. But I don't really give a shit. But then I remember playing Dallas, just how irritating Porzingis is. It's the worst. Of course, he had a decent game versus the Nets.
The one game that he has, well, because the Nets don't have anybody who can guard him. I mean, it's just DeAndre is not that kind of guy who can guard someone on the outside, right? I mean, and then it's just that's like a matchup nightmare, and that's what he's should be, but he just is always injured and was a little soft and it just,
Three Nic Claxton games.
Yeah, Nic Claxton, man, that's your guy. That's your guy. You don't even need Drummond. You don't need any of those guys.
If you go back in the archives here on the episodes of Bad Weather Fans, you'll hear me clamoring for Nic Claxton.
Always Nic Claxton.
He was like Chris Bosh-esque Nic Claxton. And here he's coming in.
Don't say Chris Bosh. Dude,
killing it.
Don't say Chris Bosh.
Don't say CB. He's coming in, killing it, 16-8 on consecutive nights. I'm just in such a good mood. This is how good of a mood I am, Alex. Mm-hmm. I don't even give a shit that the Knicks are actually good and relevant. I don't even care. I'm such on cloud nine with how happy I am with this Nets team.
Well, yeah, you want to discuss the Knicks-Nets second round matchup now and not the first round matchup, bro. This is crazy.
It is remarkable. So kudos to the Knicks crazy.
No, I'm just joking, but I mean, I'm not. I mean, if they're the top 4 seed, I mean, I know the Celtics and Heat are coming. I mean, the second half of the season, and the Knicks might not finish strong.
Tough end of the season too on the West Coast swing.
Right. And I think the first 3 games coming out of the gate where the Knicks are tough. I know the Nets are one of them, and I forgot the other 2 off the top of my head. But it's just going to be a rough stretch coming out. I want to see who it is now. But it's just you got to be proud of this team as a Knick fan, and even like nobody saw this coming. I mean, a lot of some fans thought they'd be a little better than they are. Than most thought, like myself, where I thought they were tanking, and I still think that they were indirectly tanking. They were like, if we don't win this year, it's okay. I mean, nobody saw Julus Randle becoming an all-star and in the MVP conversation. Nobody saw Immanuel Quickley.
Don't put him in the MVP conversation.
No, I mean he's not in the top 4. I mean, but he's just like in.
No, he's having a very good year. He's
the whole team. If that's not an MVP conversation, I don't know. Like, I mean, like if it would take Julus Randle off the Knicks, they win 4 games. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but I don't think in my opinion, you
I
can't
don't
say
think he's the
okay.
MVP though. Don't get me wrong.
No, I
He won't.
understand that, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't. I
yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to lump somebody as the MVP that's if he's not on the team, they're a lottery team. With him on the team, they're a 500 team. I have a hard time saying somebody
Right, right. It's not
going
like
from that to
they're
that's the
27
MVP.
and 10, right? It's not like this.
Right,
Yeah, I got
right.
you. I
That's my
got you.
point. Is they're 500, so I have a hard time
Yeah,
giving the MVP to a team
one
that's
game over.
at
Actually.
500. But he's playing. Yes, one game over. But he is playing at an All NBA type level, and he's
Yes,
having
all
himself
NBA.
right.
That's fair.
If he's out, the Knicks are going to be really bad.
Right.
True.
He's an Iron Man too. Every game he played, he's like third in the league in
Yeah.
minutes per game. It's incredible. And so in the second half, coming right out of the gate, you're at Milwaukee, at OKC, and at Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess the Brooklyn game's kind of a home game, but whatever. It's because it's not. That's not even a shot at you. It's just because there's not gonna be a lot of fans there, and you don't have to go
It's a new.
anywhere.
It's
a local
game.
game.
It's a COVID game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and that was
not even a shot.
That wouldn't
That's
mean
your
it
new.
like that.
That's your new thing. Whenever you put them down, you're like, that's not. I'm not taking a shot.
Because I feel like when I was saying, what did I say to you? Oh, that I texted you during the Knick game where I'm watching Plumlee like to play really well, and I'm like, wow, the Nets could really use Plumlee, and it would be cool because you'd have like feel like you have a real net on the team and not one of the mercenaries.
Right.
And I was like, that's not a shot though. That's
the timeout. First of all, I'm at the point where I don't. These are the real Nets.
They're your Nets, man. They're your guys.
Like, why do I have to like because I cared about the Nets my whole life? Yeah, this is the real Nets. I've waited my whole life for this kind of team. Yeah, this is the real Nets. This is James Harden is a real Net. Like it or not, if you want to call him a mercenary, if that gets you through the night on how good the Nets are playing, if that helps you out, so be it. But he is a Net. He puts on his jersey. It says Nets.
It's true. And that's the new Nets fan trigger thing, calling them mercenaries. I heard Evan Roberts and like, by the way, you're a podcast cheater because you read my tweets, you see what's going on, so kind of know where I'm going. So I kind of listen to your podcast with Evan. The what's it called again? The
I don't
Evans
know.
Brooklyn
Well,
Nets
because
fan
you're not
podcast.
allowed to. There's like rules. He's not allowed to say Nets or there's things he can't say in it for legal reasons, I think. So it's whatever it is. It's like the Brooklyn basketball.
So just
podcast.
look for Brooklyn Nets, Evan Roberts, and it's Mike and Evan do the show. But Mike as in Mike, right?
Yeah,
Mike
me.
Seglia,
Yeah,
as in you.
So you cheat?
Yeah, because I was listening to it. I was walking the dog today, and I was listening to it. I heard you talk about the Knicks, and then talk about a little about the Nets, and then it was on in the background, and I was listening. So it's just like I get an idea of where you guys are thinking and what you're thinking. And then I heard Evan today with Carton, and he was talking about how like some caller called up and called the Nets a bunch of mercenaries, and Evan got so pissed off,
triggered him.
And it's just like, so that's the new thing.
That's the new thing for the Knicks. I think it's just so interesting that like the Knick fan is going to root for the Celtics, is going to root for the Sixers. I mean, that's going to happen. You're going to root for. Granted, you could be playing one of those teams in the first round of the NBA playoffs too. So, but point is that it's triggered the Knick fan to root against the Nets. But I try to be level-headed, Alex. I really am. But the way James Harden is playing right now, I mean, he is just.
He's awesome.
So good.
We always knew he's awesome. I mean, it's just,
I was so
motivated.
wrong on that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was because he tanked his way out of the Rockets, with lack of a better term. You know what I mean? He just said, "I'm not doing this," and trade me now. You know what I mean? He went out every way possible to do it. Going to parties without masks, like getting suspended, or if he got suspended, I don't know, he got fined or something. I don't know. But it's just he did everything possible to get out of there, and it just. Now, we always said if he's motivated, this is crazy, but it's just crazy because they're still winning, and it's without Durant, and Durant has been hurt, and that's kind of scary for you, I'm sure. I mean, I know you're trying probably not to think about it, but it's just he hasn't played. I mean, how many games he played as a Net? I mean,
he's played
that was
half
my concern
the season.
with him.
Whatever their number is divided by 2.
Okay, so that was my concern about signing him for the Knicks is that you just get him, but like obviously and when the Nets got him, I was like, this is not going to be that great because. Kyrie is aloof and Durant is he's injured. You know what I mean? I didn't think Kyrie would be aloof at the beginning because I wanted him, but as it went on, I saw like, wow, the Celtics players were actually right, and Kyrie was the jerk. You know what I mean? I thought it was the other way around, and so like, but when they got Harden, it's just nobody saw that coming, and it's just if they're all healthy, they're definitely title contenders. I mean, even without Durant, they might be title contenders, but Harden in the playoffs is the biggest problem. So. We'll see how that goes.
Now, that's where you as well as they've played, they haven't done it without Durant. And then you think like, what is this team going to look like when they put KD in the mix? And for the Nets, they've played better because like this is the guys, the role players. Bruce Brown's been great. I mean, he has been
Shamit has
great.
been playing better too.
Who's that?
Shamit has been playing better lately
Shamit's been.
too.
I was like Bruce Brown's been. I mean, the guy's putting up like 16 and 8 and 5. Like he's been
The
awesome.
little Sean Marks moves, those little moves is what he excels at. And these little like
Totally.
additions are the ones that really turn to help the team out. And you thought they were just like it was gravy at the end of the bench, and now it's like wow, these are like actually good
Coach
pieces.
Nash didn't even play him in the beginning of the season, and now he's played starting center. Claxton's played well. Tyler Johnson's getting good minutes. Joe Harris is shooting 52% from the 3, and he's just in a perfect system because he's got so many. But he's a good shooter even with guys in his face. But
Right.
it's been fun to see. It's been great to watch, and I part of me was like, let's just have Nets next first round. I'm in on
Let's
it.
go.
Now.
Yeah. No.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point also with the Knicks. It's like weird. Like now that they're one game over 500, Randall's playing incredible. RJ looks good. If they don't make the playoffs now, or they're not in the if they don't avoid it, it's a disappointment. Like it's a total collapse, and it's just such a waste of a great, good, feel good first half. And I don't want to be negative, but I can't help but think that this is not real. You know what I mean? Because it's just like how is this even possible? You look at the roster, how is this even possible? But it's happening, and it's a tribute to the coach, and it's even though some of his rotations bother me, like Ntilikina hasn't played in a month, 2 months, and now he's off the bench and he's crushing it, and he's nailing threes, and he's just it's like why isn't he even why wasn't he playing? It was like healthy scratches, you know what I mean? I don't get it, but I mean maybe he wasn't healthy, I don't know, but it took an Alfred injury for him to get his name called, and what they always say, you better be ready when your name is called, right?
Next man up, Alex.
Next man up.
That's going to be the name of this podcast one day. Next man up.
I'm sure there's a podcast called that already. There's a podcast for everything. Every basketball term possible. There's a podcast.
Next man up with Mike and Alex.
There was no bad weather fans though, so we got that one.
There wasn't, which I was surprised about.
Yeah, it was a funny name. So
I remember us going through that name, trying to figure it out. This is episode 50, by the way, as we have been crushing it over the last. Well, I guess when did we start this?
Last year at this time, because it was right around now was when I the world shut down.
Yeah,
like in 2 weeks from now, right? Is when the world shut down, and then a little bit after that was when I decided we postponed our wedding, and that's when I said, all right, let's do it. Let's do the podcast, because I come on your show, Mike Delivers, a few times. And they were pretty fun and successful, like you said. And so, like, let's do it. Let's do a show. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Now I have to put my energy in something because I'm not going anywhere. And all this wedding planning was for absolutely nothing. And let's do it. So here we are now.
Yeah, that is kind of a weird retrospective that it's coming up on a year. Yeah, my because I had COVID on I remember the date. It was March 17th. So I remember the date, which is just. I think it's just using that as a time reference of like that was a year ago and just how different things are. And as long as this year has felt and as difficult of a year as it's been, and it's been the longest year ever. And I think people probably speak about this kind of thing all the time. I can't believe how fast it went at the same time. Like it was a year ago. This is blowing my mind that and just how much has changed in my life, and I'm sure for you and anybody else listening, just how different their lives are today than they were 365 days ago. Just kind of whack. It is wacky. That's been a year.
Crazy, man. The world is crazy. Like we went from like what was it, the 13th when everything shut down, or the 14th, and like
somewhere around there.
We did our walkthrough at the synagogue where we're at the temple where we're getting married, and we were picking our menu, and as we're on our way there in a taxi, it's just like. The world is shutting down. This is not going to happen. Well, it's like the biggest like mind F ever. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just a weird world, but let's not depress everybody. Let's talk about some sports. You know what I mean? Like everybody knows the world that we're in, and it's just,
it feels like we're getting out of it. I feel like, and I know me, and I'm sure this is true for everybody. Again, everybody's going to have so much fun when things start to get normal and things start to get better and the weather gets warm. If you're in the East Coast like us, I mean, it's just going to be one big, massive shit show. I mean, it's going to be so much fun.
But nobody's going to know. There's not going to be like, hey, everything's good. Everybody go out. It's going to be like a gradual like thing. I know. They don't want the world to get like everybody to go nuts. Unless you're in Texas. Now everything's normal now. So, but it's the one shot deal has really changed the world. That's going to change and speed things up a lot. That's for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician to understand that. One is better than two. So, or easier.
I always love this time of year because I'm not a big college basketball fan, but I think
It's fun.
Like
It's fun.
it's so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
fun putting on the
Yeah,
game, the
same.
tournaments, the brackets. I mean, it's just the best. And I always had so many great memories of going to a bar, hanging out with
Mhm.
friends, watching these games, filling out your bracket, getting
Right.
into teams that in schools that you've never heard of, the whole deal. So
Mhm.
I can't even believe too, like there's gonna be college basketball like where we are right now. It didn't even occur to me until I started seeing advertisements on TV. Like, holy shit,
Holy
it's
shit, it's March.
March. Like that's because we
No, I
didn't
know.
have it last year.
Right, right. It also helps that for you to forget that you're not at the at your old job at CBS
That's
Sports
true.
Radio. You're not like, especially CBS with the March Madness. It's like all
Right.
about that, and it's just your boss is probably like, "Hey guys, who's working next week?" or something. You know, you're
Yeah.
just cutting
It's fun.
audio for yeah.
It's funny you say that because I scout, like I look at CBS Sports Radio and I see all these college coaches coming on.
Uh huh.
And last year at this time, I would have been like grinding with emails to like
Ugh.
send one to these different SIDs. And I look at the guest list and I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck is in the top 25. I mean, I'll
And
just
it's a
be
great
perfectly
feeling, right?
honest.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Who
And
gives
I'm
a
just like,
shit?
oh, I don't have to get this. I don't have to get that. I don't have to get
Mhm.
this email. We don't have to tape it this time. Is that a Central? Is that a Pacific? Is that an Eastern? Oh, can you do it at this time? No, we can't do it then, but we can move it up 15 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. My host is late. Hey, can we punch it in? Can we redo the recordings? All of that bullshit
Mhm.
has been so nice to not think about.
It's
And
like,
then,
wait, who's the coach at Cincinnati? I don't even know what the hell. You know, you're just like
Bob
thinking about them.
Huggins.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Or
Oh,
no,
look at
where is
you. Yeah.
Huggy Bear? He's at West Virginia. What am I saying?
Yeah. See, you don't even know anymore. That's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking.
no, but
Whatever.
that's true. But it is the halfway point for
Mm-hmm.
both the Nets and the Knicks. One topic, sorry to be more of a downer, but I am curious
That's all
just to
right.
get your insight on this because when we did the draft night show, your excitement level for Obi Toppin,
Right.
your impressions of him in his first half. Injuries started him off; it wasn't great for him on that regard.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julius Randle playing at the All-Star level that he has, I'm sure has made it more difficult for Obi to get into the games. Your thoughts on Toppin in the first half?
I'm underwhelmed, put it that way. I think he has a lot of ability, and he's got a better 3-point shot than I thought. But it's just he also hasn't really had a chance to get into a groove. Like you said, there was an abbreviated training camp. He's an older rookie. He thinks should be better than he is, even though he's a rookie. He still needs the time that every rookie, even when you're a teenager,
Right.
then you need the time to learn the league. Like you can't just come in, oh, he's 22, he should be great. Like relax. Sometimes you need to, guys who played 4 years in college and 20 years ago and they came into the league needed some time. It's just that, and like you said, he plays the first game of the year. He plays like 20 minutes or so. That was the only game of the year. Maybe one other game since recently he played over 20 minutes, but that's it. So he's like plays one game, he does okay, and then he's out for like a month. And then Randall is crushing it, so he can't get him in the rotation. And Tibbs
Yeah.
and rookies, as we all know, with the Quickley situation and Alfred Payton, that he hates rookies for some reason and doesn't get them in, and they really have to earn it in order to get these minutes. It's a psychological thing for him in some ways. So that's also kind of hurt him. And then, it's they say Randall and Toppin can't play together, and then you have Mitch Robinson needs to get in. So there's like really no room for him. And before the season, we're like, oh, we got to trade Randall. We got Toppin. What do we need Randall for? He's redundant at this point. And then now it's like, we look like a bunch of idiots. You know what I mean? And I always was a believer in Randall, even from the Lakers days. I'm like, this guy's gonna be an all-star. This guy's really good. And then when they got him, I actually celebrated it, but he was laughing like the Knicks. And I'm like, no, I'm happy. This guy's good. But last year he was pressing, and Fizdale wasn't really the good coach that everybody thought he was, and it's just it was the offense was, here's the ball, nobody's moving, no picks. Randall just has the ball with like 6 seconds. I was like, oh fuck it, I guess I gotta shoot. You know what I mean? Then now it's like the ball zips around, and there's a plan. It's like there's plays run. It's like, what a concept, So it's like Randall now, and he also had the pandemic, the time off, and the season didn't end the way he wanted it and whatever. And he's just like, you know what? He just worked out, and he just got. He was in great shape before, but he just got in such great shape, even better. And like I said, he's an Iron Man earlier. He's just playing every game, no rest days, no days off. He's crushing it, and he's it's just a sight to see. So because of that, it's a gift and a curse to have Randall playing so well, because it's like we're not getting to see the real top, and because he comes in for 10, 12, 15 minutes, and it's just like makes a mistake, and Tibbs sits him down, and then he gets down on himself probably, and he's just like, how can he get into a rhythm,
Right.
In that way? And there's like a game he came back from the injury, he played 1 minute. And like, Tibbs,
Of
like,
the
where are
Nets
you
game.
going? Yeah. And which game was that?
Wasn't that
was
the Nets game he played, the
might
1
have
minute?
been. Yeah. And Alfred missed an alley-oop for him in that 1 minute, and he just sat down, and it was just like, now his points per game and all his per game stats are screwed because of that one game. It's just like, and that's just psychological for him as well for old kids, and it's just it sucks. So I really do have high hopes for him. I think he does have some decent post moves. He obviously could finish around the rim and hit the open three. So I think in the second half, if he can turn it on, the Knicks can actually be a scary team. Not that they're a title contender, but they can be a scary team. Obi Toppin becomes the bench player that we think he can become. So that's my long-winded answer.
And then quickly, obviously, you've been
Quickley over the moon. Like that's just like one of those where out of nowhere kind of things where it's just Immanuel Quickley just he's just looks like he's got that guy. He's got he's got it. You know what I mean? He's got the bounce in his step, and he's got the like today he didn't shoot very well. He had some open shots. He just didn't have it tonight. But you didn't see the pouting. You don't see the get his head down, or like Kevin Knox and just get into a shell. Like he just kept firing away. Like John Starks kind of feel like just. Who cares? Just shoot it. Go ahead. Let's go. Keep going. And that's fine. And that's the way the kind of player is. And if he can be the starting point guard or combo guard, shooting guard of the future, then, if Obi Toppin isn't good, we said this before the season, we're like, there's a chance Quickley could be better than Obi Toppin. Like, we don't know. Right. Like the draft, you don't know. And it turns out that's probably the case, so
yeah,
it's exciting, so I don't know.
Well, I just brought up this article on my phone because I want to talk Nic Claxton because
Yes,
I'm very excited about it
because that's a big piece. If he's good, man, if he stays this good.
And I know if you haven't watched the Nets and you're a Knick fan, I know you're going to say, "Who cares?" Yeah, there's the voice. He's just getting lobs, but he defends the perimeter so well. He has moved.
You need that today.
He's a baby. He's 20 or 21 years old. You can see in him that he is an NBA player, and you can just tell. And he does vibe well with these veterans. They trust him. They like him. So last season, there was a point where I think DeAndre was hurt. So Nic Claxton started to get minutes. And this was with Kenny Atkinson. And Spencer Dinwiddie. So I know you love him. The forgotten net.
My best friend.
He said Spencer Dinwiddie on Nic Claxton, Nets' second most talented player behind Kevin Durant. He was that high on him last year.
Wow.
He had said that. So, Dinwiddie likes to run
over Kyrie.
I don't know. Take it for what it's worth, I guess. Dinwiddie likes to run his mouth a little bit. He has fun with that. He enjoys poking at the media and getting attention. Mm-hmm. But he said, he said, Jared Allen's going to be an all-star at some point. He's going to be an all-star. But he's like, this Nic Claxton is going to be the guy. So I just want to illuminate that because I've been so excited the way he has played. He has been awesome for the Nets. And it makes you, what it's like when you're watching the team and when that one guy's coming in, like the way you felt about Quickley. And the Nets are in a different situation. Mm-hmm. But he's such a good piece and finishes around the rim and can block shots and defend. Mm-hmm. Like there's like on Nets Twitter, they always show these two pieces of like DeAndre in a pick and roll or something like that. And you see a guy with a wide open shot and DeAndre's like half foot is in the foul line. And then they'll show the same kind of play with Nic Claxton and his hand is up in the face to the defender. And you're just like, you can little things like that. You just see the difference when you attempt to play defense and what can be done with an athletic young kid. And I'm just through the moon on him, man.
And you should be. Are you still want Drummond, or are you ready to just let Claxton rock?
I don't. I'm just like the guy that you mentioned, a guy like a Plumlee, maybe like a PJ Tucker, just like a guy that has some toughness.
Without the big name like a Blake Griffin, you don't want any parts of that.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think Blake Griffin is shot. I mean,
well, he can give you minutes. I mean, if he's healthy, he can be okay. But he's not going to be Blake Griffin.
I think he's shot. I think he's more into his podcast and he can't jump. I just think he's shot. I think
they can do some Kia commercials and
I think it's over. And I don't think they need they've got enough star power. I mean, they really do. They don't need.
Well, you don't need that because it's just going to be more of a like, oh, they got Blake Griffin.
It's just going to be the ESPN graphic where it's like DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin. I'm like, well, it's not 2012, so it's not the same.
Exactly, it's not the same. No, it's not the same for sure.
But no, I just think of role player. Do you think the Knicks should add? I saw Oladipo firsthand last night in the Rockets, so I'm curious what you think of him.
No, I don't want
Oladipo.
He's a free agent.
$57 million.
He's a free agent. If they can sign him, and I wouldn't put him at a max, but I would maybe think about signing him in the offseason and replace like Bullock with Oladipo. That would be great. I mean, Bullock hit some threes, but if we can just get rid of Alec Burke and Bullock and have Oladipo, that's pretty cool. But I'm not paying him a max. That's for damn
sure. I just turned down that Rockets contract.
Yeah. No. Oh, did he? I didn't even
2
hear
years,
that.
57. He turned it down.
Oh, well, he's hoping that he can have a strong second half, but I think he got hurt the other day. I mean, he's playing, but he's like a little banged up as usual. So I
Yeah.
don't know about that, but I would definitely not trade for him. Screw that. But I would definitely add somebody for sure if they can. I mean, why not? I mean, this team looks good, but like if you can add Drummond for just signing him for nothing, I'm not trading for him, then why not? You know what I mean? Like, especially if Mitch Robinson is still hurt and even
Yeah.
if he comes back, like whatever, then you just have all these guys. I mean, it's never a bad thing to add talent. And like, Drummond is like a specialized weapon. He's like Carmelo, where it's like, or Mello, excuse me, the real Mello. He's like a offensive weapon where if you put him in the right position, he could really excel. He's not going to play defense, and when he will play defense when he wants to. He can play it when he wants to. He does it. He does it. He's not going to be the rah rah guy. You know what I mean? But if you put him in the right position, he can crush it, and your team can win
Right.
like the Knicks did it. When he was in his prime. Like now, it's a different. He's a role player or whatever. But like Drummond is that kind of specialized weapon. He's going to give you rebounds and blocks. He can go for 20 and 20 and then like 7 blocks, easy. And if you can get that and just put him in the right position, I think he would be more motivated with Tibbs. Is kind of doing his Harden thing right now with the Rockets. He got himself shut down. Saving his body, still getting paid.
Yeah.
So I think somebody like that really can help. But unless Mitch is coming back and he's doing well, then there's no point. But
Yeah.
I
Well,
would add somebody if you could, a shooter. I don't know who, like a JJ Redick, if you can steal him from the Pelicans for nothing, like maybe a second round pick or something, then I would do something like that. Then you really then you're talking, so.
yeah, shooter makes the most sense to me for the
Mhm.
Knicks. I know they're not a 3-point shooting team per se, and they're
Yeah.
more on the defensive side. But it seems to me like adding another shooter would go a long way in
Yeah.
helping the Knicks with their playoff push. It'll be interesting if that 7, 8, 9, 10 thing is going to be fascinating to
Right.
see because it's the first time we've ever seen it.
Hmm.
You're going to want to avoid it at all costs so you
Right.
can get into the 6th seed because it guarantees you basically, I mean, it guarantees you a shot in the playoffs, and then most likely you wouldn't have to see the Nets or the Sixers in the first round. Although I know you probably want the Nets because it'd be fun, but like as
Yeah.
far as like just at a pure matchup standpoint, you don't want
No,
to
if
see.
I want to win a round, I don't want to play the Nets. You know what I mean? Play in the second round, just win a round. You know what I mean? Like, look at me. Like, me talking about winning a round in the playoffs. It's
Jeez,
crazy. But like,
second round. Wow. What do you conference finals?
yeah, exactly. But it's just crazy because you have those years where if you get in that weak bracket and like there's an injury and like let's say you play the Celtics and Tatum goes down, then it's like, oh, okay, now we get a free
Right.
round. You know what I mean? And it's just like that happens every year. So it's like you never know. You just got to be in the position. Like Brand Tricky said, luck is the residue of design. Like you have to get into position to be lucky. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You can't be lucky if you're not in the right position. So it's just I want the I was thinking about this earlier. The play-in tournament is really like at first I didn't like it because I thought there's better ways to make the regular season more exciting and not just go through the motions in the last month like we always do and like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this season sucks. Like, what are we doing? Now it's like teams are going to be dying to get that 6 seed and teams are going to be dying to get that 10 seed. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So it's like, excuse me.
Yeah.
So there's like, there's incentive to play, so
I was on the record always loving this. I was like, the
Mhm.
more gadgets and gizmos you can do to
Right.
make people interested, I'm all about that. I think this is so good for the sport. I think it's not like baseball where people are really scared of change, but I'm like,
Mhm.
why not improve everything? We've seen at the end of the regular season, it gets so boring and so people get so out of tune with it.
Right.
Like now
Just
you're adding
boring.
interest to it. It makes it more difficult for trades. A team like, look at the freaking Wizards are in the playoff hunt. I mean, the
They've
Southwest
been playing
Division
well
is
lately. Don't hate on the Wizards, man.
no,
They're
I'm
winning
saying
like
they
games.
are.
Yeah, yeah.
They've played really
They're
well. They just
trying.
beat the
Yeah.
Clippers.
Yeah. They've won like, I mean, last I saw they were won like 9 of 11. I'm sure they won a couple more since or played a couple more games. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, no, they've turned it on. It's they've had a chance to get it together, and all of a sudden, that Russell Westbrook doesn't look so bad.
No,
But it's crazy, man. The NBA is crazy like that. As a society, we're such a 24/7 society that we want instant reaction, instant reaction. What do we think? This guy sucks. This team sucks. This
yeah.
team is great. This team's good. Sometimes you just need some time. Like give Obi Toppin some time. Give him some time. Maybe
No,
he'll
no
get it
time for
together.
everybody gets time but him.
Yeah, exactly. Give RJ Barrett some time. He's 20 years old, and look at what he's doing now.
Yeah, it's so funny to me the RJ Barrett like discussions on him just in general. He's
Mhm.
so young. It's
He's 20
so
years old.
crazy.
He's 3 years
He's
younger than Obi Toppin.
so young, and to be like, well, he's made some developments, but I don't like enough of what I've seen. It's like, well,
What are you looking for?
And I think I think part of the problem is because Morant and Zion have been so good. Zion
Mhm.
has really picked up his game. I
Yeah.
think that it makes it unfair for RJ to have
Mhm.
his expectations at that level.
Right.
When in reality, like you said, he's just a baby. And it's like
Mhm.
maybe in 4 or 5 years from now, you'll see how good of a player he
And
is.
he's 24.
Yeah, and it's just so wild to me of like, well, I liked what I've seen as growth from his second year, but it's just not quite enough. I'm like,
Mm.
well,
It
what does that even
honestly,
mean? He's so young.
if you look at their stats, the RJ Barrett and John Morant, they're not that far off from each other. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at it right now. Points per game, Morant is 19, RJ is 16. I mean, that's not including tonight, so I don't know what it is. This is as of the day
I
yesterday.
hear you.
And then RJ's got more rebounds per game, and then Morant is more assists and steals, and they're the same in blocks. But RJ is shooting way better from three. Morant shoots 23% from downtown as a point guard. Like, I'm not saying
Yeah.
Morant sucks and RJ's better, but I'm just saying it's not like this like crazy difference between John Moran and RJ Barrett. And it's not, it's just perception. You know what I mean? It's perception because John Morant's a point guard. He seems to be like a franchise player, but he's also sometimes he plays a lot of control and get himself injured because he's
Mm-hmm.
not a big guy. And that happened already. So it's just, you
That was the
never
Nets
know.
game.
Yeah, exactly. So, Zion is incredible. He's a superstar. You know what I mean? That's a different level, but after that, it's not that crazy to think RJ Barrett could have a better career than John Morant. It's not that crazy to say that. I mean, people might say I'm crazy right now or shut off this podcast. Please don't do that. But like at this, I just
Well, it's
think
just too
about it.
it's just too early to tell. And
It's too early.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't
Mm-hmm.
I just feel bad in the kind of the micro analyzing of somebody
He's 20.
that
Can't
that
drink,
so early on in his
or he
career
doesn't drink at all. Right?
is
Never
just
had a drink.
I mean, yeah, I'm probably not. I mean, it's just
Okay.
so wild to me to hear that kind of talk on
Uh
when it
huh.
takes years for people to click and get it. And he has been good. It's like, oh, I wish his jumper was better. But yeah,
It's
but
not that bad.
there's still time to go.
He has
We
really
talked,
bad games, and that
yeah.
really kills his stats. But sometimes he'll hit 6 of 7 from downtown. You know what I mean? Like his
Well,
free throws are improved. So it's just
I can't wait to so we'll do an instant reaction to one of the Nets Knicks play each other on March
right.
the 15th, which is a Monday night, I believe.
Hmm.
And excuse me, we'll have to do a podcast
For sure.
after that game for sure. So I know we did. It was funny because the one we did after the Nets Knicks, it really didn't have any buzz at all because that was the night Harden got traded, and then
Yeah.
that
The
steamrolled the
game was a
Knicks. It got close
secondary
late,
story. In the
but
game, nobody
right
cared about the game. Yeah. And
now
then
you
Knicks
feel
got
like we'll have
stomped
a
out, and that sucked because that was their first and only so far national game. And it was just like, ugh, this is what we're doing, But that
how
was
about
One of Durant's best games, right, of the season, I think.
I know I wouldn't say
No?
that.
Oh,
No,
I thought he
it
did
was
really
just the
well.
Durant. It was just all of his games are like that. That's just what he
Uh-huh.
does.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to
Just be funny.
be a prick here. Like that's
Yeah.
just every game. He was just doing
Of
that.
course, it's Kevin Durant. I mean,
Yeah, right, exactly. He just did it with ease. I will say it's been with the Knicks better, and this is kind of the root of what we do here with the Nets Knicks podcast,
Mm-hmm.
is you can see the gearing up of the fan bases going
Mm-hmm.
at each other a little bit more and like
Right.
feeling it again. And like there's been a couple of Nick tweets. I think, oh, I wish I'll have to pull it up here, but the one I sent you, and I'm like, I could do an hour on this tweet with
Oh,
all
I
of
think
these
it
like
was Mahoney, right? Was that Brian Mahoney? I think it
I
was
don't know
him.
who
I
said it,
think.
but it was like
Mm-hmm.
the Knicks
Is that his
good.
name? I think that's his name.
It's a Knicks
Yeah.
town. Like Yankees are great, Giants are
Oh,
great,
it
Mets
was
are great.
Zach
Don't
Bazillier,
The Nets
Zach whatever. Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even count the Nets. It's like this is the Knicks are always the number one team in New York.
Yeah, no.
And
I
but I
mean,
think I have an answer for it. I like
oh yeah.
legit thought about this. So and I can't speak as much for the hockey, but I
Mm-hmm.
do feel like they're big fan bases with all three organizations
Right,
love their
right,
hockey
right.
teams. But like the Giants are one, the Jets are two,
It's
but both
close.
have crazy fan
It's
bases, right?
close.
Same
Yeah.
thing with the Yankees, but the Mets are still a national brand, right? They're not the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees because they're just the
No,
Yankees, but the Mets
the
are still a
Yankees are
huge.
that's the biggest
The Mets
difference.
are a
Yeah.
huge brand. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
so the Knicks Nets was never like those teams, and I always try to tell that to people that are outside. Like people might think Knicks Nets was like what Giants Jets or Mets Yankees are like. It
It's
wasn't
not.
even close to
No,
that.
Nets weren't even in the
9 out of 10,
conversation.
I
Yeah.
would say, right? And then the other
Yeah.
one would be 5.5 to 4.5, something more like
Mm-hmm.
along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Nick fan in their head never recognized there was a second team in the market.
Mhm.
So in their mind system, that's why they think that the Knicks are the biggest draw out of all of them, because in their mind, it's the only team. It's like if you lived in Pittsburgh, you lived in Cleveland, you all like the same team. You wouldn't be like, you're telling me that I'm going to hate the other football team in the market. I'm going to hate the other baseball team. So I
Right.
think the Knick fan sees that as they were the only show in town. So that's why they felt like they were the biggest of all the sports. And then there's that little side jab to put down the Nets because even though they're not the Knicks, they do feel that they've had some impact. So they do want to make sure to, basically say, hey, to mark their territory and say this is ours. Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
That's my analysis on the whole thing.
It's no, you have a good point, but there's also the point of a lot of kids these days, they're not even fans of teams. They're just fans of players.
Yes.
So you'll have a Harden fan that'll follow Harden everywhere
It's
he
crazy.
goes. You'll have a Kyrie fan that'll follow Kyrie, Durant. So like they have three of those
Right.
guys that have a national fan base that of teams that fans that are like a 20-year-old kid who is just a diehard Durant fan. And
Right.
he'll have every one of his jerseys, every one of his teams, no matter where he goes. So that is kind of why, and this is not even a shot, like I'm saying, that is kind
There
of
it
why the
comes.
Nets, that's kind of why like the Nets ratings and their things have gone up because they have more of an intrigue because of the players. Like
Sure.
once the players are gone in a couple of years, they are going to go back to where they were, in my opinion. If they don't, then that's a major accomplishment. And then you
Yeah.
can say the Nets have arrived because the Knicks, they've shown it over the last couple of years since 2013 or 14, when the last time they made the playoffs. They're still able to be relevant and still have really
Right.
good ratings and sell out the arena. I know everybody says, oh, there's never real fans, it's all tourists. It's not all tourists. If you go to a damn game, you'll see that there's tons of Knicks fans at every game. Even there's tourists, sure, but there's like the games are flooded with Knicks fans. People who say that don't go to the Garden, first of
Yeah.
all. So, the ratings on TV show that, and even when they stink. So if the Nets once this cycle goes and they go back to being like an average to a bad team, because everybody goes to that cycle. If their ratings are still high, then you can say that you've arrived. That's my opinion. Arrived.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I don't know
that's
if
it.
I
I
swallowed
don't,
that
I do think that these guys are going to be here longer, and I'm hopeful. But like,
word.
if they're happy and they're enjoying their situation and they're all together and they can all get paid, why
Right.
would they leave?
Yeah, I don't know. Though, what's the point? I mean,
Like
unless
to
there's
do
some
this,
kind of
unless
internal
something,
clash,
right? I
that's the
mean,
only thing.
I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't
Kyrie,
work out.
yeah,
Maybe they'll hate
yeah.
each other and go. But if they win basketball, I'm not even say win a title. Let's say the Nets get to the Eastern Conference Finals and lose, but in Game 7 to the Sixers. But all of them are like, you know what? Shit, we now we have a full season of training camp.
Right.
We can even manipulate Sean Marks to get in more of our guys and figure it
Mhm.
out. Like, I don't see why you would want to leave that situation, and we can
Yeah.
make $30 to $40 million each.
Mhm.
What's
In New
better
York
out
City,
there?
and you're not even in the big
Right.
market. You don't have to deal with the traffic and of the New York City of Manhattan. You can just go right to. I mean, there's traffic in Brooklyn, but
But
you
I
know what I'm
mean,
saying.
it's
It's not.
still,
It's a lower, less of a tension on you. You know what I'm
yeah. But
saying?
I'm
Like
saying,
it's
okay,
just
like James Harden, you're telling me if he wants to find a strip club in New York, in Manhattan, he's not going to. I mean,
he's
no,
gonna
he's going
go.
to figure
Yeah.
it out.
When Scores is open, he'll be there. You
He'll
know what
be at
I'm
all of these places.
saying?
So yeah, you get
Rick's,
the New
all of
York,
them. He'll be
New
everywhere.
York lifestyle.
Yeah.
The money is maxed based on your at your team, and you're all together and you're winning. Now, I'm not saying things can go badly. Yeah, but I'm
Mhm.
like, at this point, why would you want to go? Where else what else is out there? What are you
Yeah,
gonna
where
do?
then you're just like you're always looking for the better opportunity. Like the grass is not always greener,
No.
and all these guys know that. And I mean, Durant left the Warriors. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this was before everybody got hurt. I mean, well, I guess they got, but he was gone. Everybody knew he was gone before Clay got hurt, and he was gone.
Right.
And for him to leave that to come here because he wants to play with his best friend and have the right situation and not have to worry about anything, and the injury might have changed where he was going. We'll never know the answer to that. And it's just I just feel like they have nowhere else to go from here because
I agree.
Harden, Durant, and Kyrie
Is it?
all they own the Nets, and they
Sure.
own the decisions, and that's not even a shot. Like
No,
I
that's
said,
reality.
it's just reality. Like
And
they
it's been
say
good. I
go
mean,
get Harden, and he
it's
went.
been
But
good.
thank God they got Harden for the
Right.
Nets. You know what I mean? Like, and thank God for you. That
Yeah.
they got Harden.
No,
Because without him, Durant is hurt this entire season, most of it, and Kyrie is going to birthday parties and not showing up for work, and that would have been what it was early in the season for the whole season. You know what I mean?
Nets
Like,
don't
is
make
Kyrie
that.
showing up? Is he not? So
Nets
but
don't make that deal. They're not 24 and 13.
no
They're
chance.
19 and 16. They're 19 and 17. something
Mhm.
20 and
Something,
whatever,
like something
just
like that.
something
They'll
like
be in the
a
playoffs 'cause
game or
they're
two
so
above
good.
500,
Yeah.
and it's just not the same feel
A
as
super
what
team.
it
It's
is
not a
here with
super
Harden.
team. Yeah,
No,
no,
and who
it's not.
knows with Kyrie? I mean, with Karras too, who
Mhm.
saved his life with the fucking trade. So I mean,
Right. He's
who
on his
knows
way
what's
back,
going to
actually. Good
happen?
for him. I saw
Second
he's
half.
close to coming back. Yeah, good for him.
But to answer your original part of the question, if let's say in 3 or 4 years they're all gone, and then
Mhm.
I would probably think, I bet you their ratings go down. I mean, they probably have. Yeah, I would agree with that. I do.
If they
I,
go
I
down
do.
to what they were, then you
It'll
know
be
that
better
that
than
was
what it
nothing.
was, but it won't be
Yeah,
what it is now.
yeah.
But
It's
but
all
but
about
but but,
aspiring the
but
next
Alex, let's
generation. Yeah.
let's be fair.
Mhm.
If the Knicks had Kyrie, Harden, and Durant, their
Mhm.
ratings would be up too. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not
they'd be up more than what they are for sure.
whatever they like. If they were here and the
Their
Nets were
average would be
here, like,
higher.
and then and
Yes.
the Nets when he like it would just whatever it would
It would
be
be
up, and
higher
then it
for
would come
sure.
down again. I mean, there's just
Mhm.
no way around that when you have this level of players that are coming to your organization.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So what's your official prediction for the second half of the Nets? What do you think? Like, where do you think that they're going to land?
I don't
Let's
want to do
just.
that.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do
No,
the
because I
prediction
don't want to
games.
say what's. I mean,
You don't want to jinx it.
I'm getting to the point now where I work out of the gym and I play the mental games of like me at the TV,
Worst
like fuck you,
possible, best
Joel Embiid,
possible.
you
Yeah,
mother,
yeah, yeah.
like I know it's.
Oh
I mean,
no.
I went to that Nets. I went to a Nets Sixers playoff game
Hmm.
2 years ago, the year they won the 42-40 title. And I remember going to game two versus the Sixers. Nets were up game one. Nets were down one at the half to Philly. I'm thinking in my head, like, they're going to go up 2-0 in Philly and come back to Brooklyn. Just how you're having these fantasy dreams yourself. Like, these were my
Yeah.
wet dreams,
Like,
right?
oh my God, we can win this. Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
So
yeah.
I remember in that Sixer game, Embiid with the elbow to Jared
Mm.
Allen in the head. And I was like, fuck, I don't like this.
Jared Dudley motivated the Sixers too with his trash
Oh,
talk.
that was, I mean, that was one of the few times you went to the Barclays Center in the playoffs. It was like, it's like a real NBA playoff game. It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gearing up. I'm excited, and I know it.
Getting your emotions in check. Yeah.
So many things that can happen to get there,
Mhm.
but I can just feel the energy like picking up, because I know in your life as a sports fan, the teams we like, there's not many times where it happens, and I know in NBA is a grind. This is
Mhm.
it. This is
This
one of
is
the.
your
This
this
is
is
one
your
of like,
apex.
if
Yeah.
I'm going to be on this earth for, let's say, 80 years, I'm going to get 3 of these, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of them. So I'm excited
No.
for it in that
Yeah.
sense. That's
And
so
the Jason Kidd years, you were excited. The team was awesome in the Eastern Conference. They blew through it, but you never thought like, oh my God, this team can win a championship. You know what I mean? You
Well, the
needed an
first
injury
year,
or
the
two.
first year came out of nowhere. They were 26-52.
Right.
They made the trade for Marbury for Kidd,
Mhm.
and then
They
they
took off.
got
Yeah.
to the finals, and they played the Lakers, and
That was
they
just
had
fun
no
to be there,
chance.
right? You're like, holy crap, I can't believe we're in the finals.
But the
For
next
those years,
year,
yeah.
there was legit like that was one of those years. They took the
You knew they
Spurs
were
to
good. They
6,
knew
and they
they were
blew
good.
some of those games.
Mhm.
The Spurs won the championship. Don't get me wrong, but the Nets had their opportunity. So this is the first time I would say.
Didn't
But
they
this
just
is even
wasn't that the
different.
last time they won in San Antonio? Was that finals until
Yes.
recently or something?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Until this week,
Crazy.
right?
Until
that's
this
insane.
week, the overtime win in San Antonio was the last time they won. There was the NBA Finals Game 2.
That's wild.
I know. So they don't have.
I know
much
they only play
success
once
there.
a year there. It's not
was
like
20
they
straight
play
losses
7
or
times a
something.
year, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway. But
So
no,
my
it's
expectation
exciting.
for the Nets are,
Stay
fingers
healthy.
crossed. Please, let's figure this out. Let's do this.
Stay healthy. Kyrie show up for work. Yeah.
Let's do this. What's your
No, it's true.
expectations for the Knicks then?
For the Knicks, I just think that they're going to stay around 500, maybe a little over, and just be this. Like, that's my expectations. I think health plays a major factor with Julius Randle. I'm not trying to wish injury, but you never know. He's playing this many minutes. You never know. So this is the kind of stuff where you just got to keep going and hopefully they do something to make the team even better and actually try to win. I mean, that would be nice. And from a management perspective, because they didn't try to win this offseason. If they had like another shooter on this team that wasn't like Alec Burks, who can't do anything but hit an open 3, you know what I mean? So
Joe Harris.
That'd been awesome. Like, even Gallinari, who's coming, who's getting it going recently, hit a bunch of threes recently. He was injured early on. Like he always does, that's his knock. But it's just, there's just things like that where I just give me the effort. Don't blow it up. Don't drop it. Lose 10 straight now coming out of the gate in the second half. Don't do that, because then it's just like, ugh, like, oh, the Knicks thought they can do it, and it's just I can't handle a second half like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be I'm gonna be just an angry
Yeah.
fan if that happens, and I just can't take that. It's
Yeah.
just, I just want to see this effort. I want to see this team. I want to see them play. I'm not expecting them to go 15 games over 500, but
Right.
give me a little cushion. Win that Bucks game in the start the second half, and then
Where's that game? In Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, yeah,
They're
win
a weird
that game.
team.
Yeah, no, they're good, and they just
They're
picked
weird
off,
though. They have streaks.
What's his name? What did they just sign? Miles Powell, is that his name for the Seton Hall? He was on the Knicks on Westchester.
I didn't
Knicks.
know that they signed him. That's news to me.
Yeah, Miles Powell. Yeah, he was on Westchester Knicks, but he wasn't like officially signed. So in the G League, you can always like pick off a guy from someone else's roster if you sign him to like a two-way contract. So they did that, and
Ezeli. You guys got
Ezeli. It was like that. Is that what happened?
No, the Knicks just signed him to a G League deal.
Oh, they did. Oh,
yeah, Festus.
Festus Ezeli,
breaking news
the
to
Warriors legend right there, man.
Yes.
That's the Warriors legend. But it's just, I just want to see this effort. Just keep going and just make us proud as fans. Make us proud. You're not going to be the super team of the Nets. Don't try to be crazy and try to trade everything for a major superstar. Oh, by the way, did you hear this week? Now all of a sudden, every announcer, major national announcer, is saying, oh, Jay Williams was like, oh, the Knicks, Luka Doncic will probably want the Knicks, and then Stephen A is like, I would love Dame to go to the Knicks, and it's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, stop with this crap. Like, just stop with this crap. Like, just leave us alone. Like, just let us just be like a team. Like, let us be just good. Just be like, just say good things about us. Like, that's all. Don't be first things first. Don't be that show who that was ridiculous. But whatever. Anyway.
Well, my hope is that the Knicks lose every game.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't want them to win, man.
Just make us proud. And that's all I'm asking from the Knicks. Just make us proud. Then that's the easiest way I can put it.
Deep breaths. Second half of the season, we're gonna have fun. I'm very much looking forward to what's ahead.
Yeah.
What's the all right, so let's do our numbers game. We've got the poll question. This is Bad Weather Fans episode 50, which means we're guessing jersey numbers from number 50 for either the Brooklyn, New Jersey Nets or the team from Manhattan, New York.
So I'll pick one guy that was number 50. We had a bunch, and you tell me if you know this guy. So he was obviously number 50. He was a lefty on the Knicks. He was late 2000s.
Late 2000s, lefty on the Knicks.
Yeah, if I give any more headband, he wore a headband.
Randolph.
Yeah, see, I knew that. Screwed that one up.
It's funny.
But and the one that's the crossover one is Eddie House, who played both for the
Which
Knicks
we got in our pre-show production.
Yeah,
my fault. I blew my load on that.
Right, and you can name one more that was from the 90s that you probably hated his guts.
On the Knicks, Greg Anthony.
Yeah, there you go. So we had a bunch of Knicks number 50s. We had Joe Merriweather from 79-80. Who knows who that is? Greg Anthony and Felton Spencer, the legend Felton Spencer.
I didn't know he was 50, but all right.
And then the great draft bust, Michael Sweetney.
Oh, I would have gotten that if you gave me some clues. You said Georgetown I think it was the 8th pick in the draft.
He was the 9th pick in the draft. And they didn't even pick him over anybody that was that great.
Was that the 2004 draft?
That was the LeBron draft.
That was the LeBron draft.
So yeah, everybody got LeBron, Melo, Bosh, Wade, and we got Michael Sweetney. But to be fair, after pick 5, it was a bunch of junk. It was just there was nothing else there until you got to like David West, but he was like picked way down, or
like 15 or 16, right? Indiana.
David West was 18 to the New Orleans Hornets.
Oh, that's right. He was on New Orleans. Died. Should know that.
Yeah. Kendrick Perkins was 27, but this is a
Sweetney was good in college, man. My freshman year was Carmelo's freshman year, and we played Georgetown all the time, and he was great.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to be a player. I didn't know what happened with that. He just was just not. I guess he wasn't in shape. I don't know, but
that at least we usually one of us is laughing at the other team's expense. We both just laugh there.
All right, so let's see. Number 50 is on the Nets. Let's see. Wow, that's wild. Hold on.
We need Dolan here.
There's two. So Eddie House was this. I'm going to give this away because there's no way you're going to know this because I never even heard of him. So Eddie House was a Nick and a net and number 50. There was also this guy, Dan Gadzarik. In 2012, he was a Nick and wore number 20, no, number 50. And in 2011, he was a net and wore number 50. That's
Dan Gadzarik?
Yeah, I never heard of this guy before.
He went to Oregon, right?
Let's see.
I don't know. I'm just making things up.
He went to the Netherlands, so we were close. Yeah,
just a further west,
yes.
All the way around the world.
Okay, let's see.
Number 50,
nondescript players.
Yeah. So is there nobody else?
No, there's a few Nets.
That's like it. That's like I would have heard of.
Nobody's like I'm trying to find one that actually played a few games besides Eddie House. That was the guy.
What are you looking these up? Just curious. How do you figure this out? Not that I'm going to cheat.
It's all in my mind, dude. This is all off the top of my head. Right. It's a basketball reference. I have the number thing. So let's just guess. Here we go. This guy.
If it's like at least a 90 up, it's hard for me in the 80s.
He's got to have played more than 7 games on the team. So
that's true too.
Okay, so this guy, it looks like he was a scrub at the end of the bench for 2 years. In 97 through 99, he was 97, 98, 98, 99. He was number 50. I've never heard of him before, but
okay, so 98, 99, the Nets. Okay, so we're looking at, oh man. Once you say the name,
drafted by the Orlando Magic and with a 25th pick in the 1995 draft.
Was it? It's not Brian Evans, is it?
No,
I don't know. Who is it?
David Vaughn.
Oh, I've heard of David Vaughn. I
okay, I never.
Yes, I have a David Vaughn story.
I thought you were gonna say you have his jersey. I was about to be like, what the?
No, but I went to Nets camp as a kid one year. And they brought out David Vaughn as one of the players. Which
that's so funny.
Which just shows you, like,
yeah.
It was, and Van Horn was there too, which was cool.
That's cool.
But the point is, like,
Van Horn is cool for that.
Van Horn was cool. Yeah,
he was a starter on the team.
It was cool to see Van Horn. This was
He's probably huge to you. You were a little kid. He's 6'10". You know, just like this huge
massive.
Monster.
That's where I fell in love with him. I think I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
I started to like him, and then but he was, he had his issues.
Then became a Nick. Yeah, that was the end of him. But no, it's a funny story. Okay. Actually, nondescript players coming to camps. When I was at one of that camp, Eric Hillman, he was a Mets pitcher. He was actually the tallest pitcher at the time. He was like 6'10" also. And they only had a few people come out and pitch for him, and he would like critique us. And I was one of the kids that they took, and someone took a picture of it, and I still have it. I'll show it to you. And I'm wearing my Ewing sneakers, and pitching, and I have my mullet, and it's like a whole thing. It's pretty funny.
Oh, we'll have to see that.
I'll show you that picture.
That's tremendous. I like when you give the year, and then I try to figure it out. That's fun.
Yeah, that's more fun. Yeah, I tried to get somebody who was actually on the team for actually more than like 5 minutes. But so we have Chris Engler, 87 to 88.
No.
Adrian Caldwell in 97. David Vaughn, and then we have Vladimir Stepania in 2001.
Vladimir Stepania, yeah, that I would remember. I would never have remembered it, but I can see him. He kind of looks like. Have you ever played Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
Yes.
He looks like the Pink Flamingo kind of vibe. I want to say he's got very very dark hair, very thin face. Maybe he doesn't look like the Pink Flamingo.
Played 29 games. That's pretty.
Vladimir Stepania.
1 year.
You know who'd be fun at this game? This would be really fun if you did this. If you got Mike Breen versus Ian Eagle.
Yeah, versus Ian Eagle. That would be really good.
Because their brains from each team. I mean, I'm sure it's like they would have, like, you could go deep. You and I know these teams, but not like that. I mean, that would be actually like a really entertaining game show.
That would be like Howie Rose versus what's his name, Sterling.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be fun. It'd be sick.
That'd be nuts. Yeah,
like these people are like sick. But this is what they do. I mean,
this is their life. Day. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
In a good way. It's their life. And then we have Reggie Slater in 2002.
Yep.
And then Eddie House and Dan Gadzarik. So that's a trivia question. Knicks Nets trivia question. Who are the two Knicks and Nets that wore number 50? Eddie House and Dan Gadzarik.
I know. Listening to this is Dolan is listening to.
Oh,
this.
He's like, yeah, I know.
It's
Dolan,
the Netherlands, you morons. It's the Netherlands. Still love it. The smartest Knick fan is actually a Net fan after all that.
Ex-Net fan.
He's a Net fan. He was a New Jersey Nets fan. He'll give me shit for it. You know it, Dolan. You're listening to this. You
You have to say
secretly
Dolan J. Trump
you
because
love
people
the
listening
Nets.
think we might be talking to Jim Dolan if they're new listeners.
no,
Like,
it's
no, it's Dolan J. Trump, our president.
Yes,
You know, so
Dolan loves the Nets.
all right, so let's finish it up with the poll question, the Knicks poll question. We do it weekly. So here we go. Knicks fans, send it out. Are you taking the bait on the Windhorse, Brian Windhorse comment that within the next 12 months, a superstar player demands a trade to New York? Explain your answer. Yes or no? Do you think Knicks fans are taking the bait, Mike?
66, no.
74.7% no. So Knicks fans had enough, and there was over 500 votes on this. So
I
it was a
voted.
pretty good gauge. You did? You voted yes?
I voted
You always vote the other way just to make Knicks fans look stupid. I'm sure.
No.
I'm
I'm taking the bait.
You're taking the bait. You think that they're going to go
A little bit. I don't know if I'm taking
it's
the bait,
not that
but
crazy. It's 12 months, so by March, the trade deadline of next year. So
the Knicks are moving in the right direction. I would say
right.
it's it's
but
at
who
least
cares?
now a fun talking
Knicks fans
point.
are not worried about that right now. We're just worried about this team. Like, it's just leave us alone. Like, let us just enjoy this team and enjoy this year and I'm not worried about star chasing. Like, just if somebody signs, they sign. If they don't, they don't. I'm not wasting my energy on it.
Sure. Totally understandable.
All right. So we have a few shout outs. I didn't prepare any, but I'll go through and read some. So we have our boy Leo Valentin. He's at Leo Valentin. He goes, no, so much to say about this, but our response gives them two angles. Desperate, delusional Knicks fans, or Dolan dropped the ball again. Whether he's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. We need this to shame all of them. Shame.
Get Lee on the pod, Alex.
Yeah, Lee's awesome. Comedian.
Hook it up.
Yeah. And then we have, we definitely do. So then we have Johnny Rosado. He's our boy at Johnny_Rosado. He, you know him. He was hitting us up and shouting us out recently. He goes, I believe that it's happening for the Jets already. So it makes sense because the big market, I get what he's saying, so, the Jets are one of the worst teams ever, and Deshaun Watson wants them. So, and maybe
different sports. So it's just,
yeah, it's a good comparison though. It makes sense. Then we have, let's see. Okay, so we have my boy DP. He's at Captain Pearl MYK. He goes, it's not bait. Just like KD wasn't made up. Just like AD was willing to be traded here. If you are asking, will this front office finally figure out how to land a star? Yes, I think that will happen. So he's taking the bait. Then we have...
the way you say it, it's like, he's taking the bait. He could be right. It might not be bait. Might be right. Might be swordfish.
Or it could just be him, just having a conversation, just be like, maybe they're a good team, maybe they'll get him, maybe he doesn't have any sources and he's just saying that I think somebody might want to sign
just the way you said it, like poo-pooing his answer. He's taking the bait. Maybe he's
had tilapia.
Maybe he's right.
For dinner, actually.
You did have tilapia?
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I told you about my epic tilapia from IHOP.
Wait, was it tilapia or was it? Oh, it's halibut, not tilapia. I'm sorry.
Never mind. I don't have any halibut stories.
No halibut story. I like halibut salad better than actual halibut. You know what I mean?
What does that mean?
It's just like kind of like egg salad, but halibut salad. Like you chop it up and mayo, and it's just like when you get it from like a good deli or a good bagel store, it's like really
white. Good. Is that with the like a whitefish bagel?
Yeah, like one of those. Yeah, white. Oh, I love whitefish.
Me too.
A lot of people don't get that, but that's a Jewish thing. I mean, it's
what's funny, Alex, is I hate mayonnaise.
Really?
But I like love whitefish salad.
Yeah. It's just the way it's made.
My wife's always like, "You hate mayonnaise, but you like this." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm a hypocrite."
I don't understand. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
it's kind of like you like sushi, and certain things in sushi you won't eat by itself, but you'll have it all packed together in a sushi. You know what I mean?
Let's give an example. What do you mean by that? This intrigues me.
Let's say like eel. Would you ever just eat eel?
Yes,
you would.
Well, yeah, I love eel. I mean, really? I don't know if I've ever had it without anything, but I guess I don't know. I've never seen it on a menu without
exactly.
Without
That's
rice.
What I'm saying. Like nobody's
just tuna. I like
get some
salmon.
fried
I like
eel, please, with some fries. Thanks.
That does sound good. Well, actually, that does sound good.
Does it? No. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something you got to go to Europe in some random country in Europe, and they'll have like eel on the menu. Like
you like tuna, salmon by itself.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. So let's go for one more. We got Pat Sutherland. He's at PSUTH1. Yes, because they have great management now, and the owner seemingly is fading to the back and letting them work. Once they add reliable floor spacing for RJ Barrett, he will flourish next to become a true star. So he's very optimistic.
All right.
He's taking the bait. so I guess that's it. You want to do one more, or you want to just...
it's up to you, man. You've got the poll. You are the poll master.
Last one, my guy. He goes by Billy Hoyle, but it's obviously not his real name. That's from White Man Can't Jump. Well, maybe it's his real name. I don't know. Billy Hoyle. He's at _ I am true hate. He goes, depends on what you mean. Do I think a player will try to come here? Yes. Do I think Windhorst has any idea? Let me redo this. Do I think Windhorst has any idea other than the same speculation I just gave? Absolutely not. These dudes talk out of their ass the same way we do. They just get paid more to do it. So that's a solid point.
I don't know what he's talking about. I get paid more than Windhorst to do this podcast.
Do you? That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
I'm not sure what you're getting paid, but I'm getting Windhorst money.
Maybe we have to have a different
I
conversation.
like Brian Windhorst. I think he does a good job.
He's just a LeBron guy. He came up with LeBron. That's his boy, and that's how he got his stuff. And more power to him. You need somebody to get you into a business like that. You know what I mean? You need to have some kind of crazy source to get into that business. And I'm sure he made his friends. And good for him, man. But
it's all about connections. These guys. I mean, how did the Woj and Shams get these reports? They just know everybody.
Right. They just hound everybody. In the beginning, they probably hounded everybody. Like, hey, what you got? Any stories? You got any stories? You got any stories? You got any stories? Any news? Get me the next one. I got you this. Something. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy.
You never know how that works. Yeah, it's weird how back in the day, what was his name who was best friends with Strahan? Oh, Jay Glazer. He used to be like the story guy. Like he used to be like the football story guy, and then he kind of gave it up, and he became Schefter and Ian Rappaport. So
yeah, you don't see Jay Glazer doing it. He was like MMA. He was in Ballers. He just kind of.
He's just like
they had that whole thing. Fox. They really fucked this up over the summer when they're like, we have a huge report tomorrow. Stay tuned. And then the next day it was like somebody had COVID. It was like, what was he doing?
Dude, like that.
You remember that?
Yeah, like somebody die or something.
No, it was just a player that had COVID, and they made it story like
it seem like he had some breaking news.
And it was early on where it wasn't as prevalent, and people it was more of a you had it, and it wasn't as kind of a mainstream topic, but it just was out of reach.
Came off the wrong way.
Yeah,
like it came out. Yeah,
it was just stupid. Just was like you have a report JJ Watt's getting dealt. I was like, well, that would be interesting, or whatever. It was like, what? Why is this? Why are we teasing this like it's a news story? It's just,
just break the news, break the story.
Sick.
Yeah, why are you making money off somebody who's sick and might die, and we didn't know anything about the disease then? I gotcha.
Didn't make sense.
All right, well, that's it. That's all I got.
All right,
good story.
That's all I got to. This has been Bad Weather Fans, episode number 50. Mike and Alex, thank you guys for coming here and checking out the podcast. Don't forget, if you listen on Apple, leave us a comment, give a 5-star rating, subscribe to the podcast. If it's on Spotify, Stitcher, any of them, go ahead and subscribe. All of that content, all of that subscriptions, that stuff really does make a difference, and we do appreciate all of the support that it gives us. Don't forget, at Nick Central for Alex, if you want to respond to some of those poll questions that he has, please do. He's spitting out Nick's content all the time. I have to mute him Monday through Friday. Then when we do the podcast, unleash it for a few minutes to see what's going on. At Mike Delivers Pod, you can find me on Twitter there if you want to see a lot of food content and be annoyed by a Nets fan.
Yeah,
you can find me there, man. As Leon the Cat's jumping in, he's coming here, which means it's time for us to probably go. Alex, enjoyed it. Hit the All-Star break.
All right.
Enjoy watching Quickley in the Rising Stars game. That'll be awesome.
Oh, that's a shot. That's a shot. There's no Rising Star game, first of all, and
whatever.
By the way, it is terrible the way they do those rosters. Let's
the
not
whole
get into
thing's
that.
Stupid.
So stupid. World versus USA. This is in hockey. They don't have enough players to do that.
But that was anyway. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Obi Toppin dunk champ. Let's go. Let's win it at halftime. Let's do. Randle is in the skills competition also. Let's win that. Let's just win everything. Randle All-Star game MVP. Let's do it.
This reminds me of the Nets year. Dinwiddie was in the Stars. Joe Harris won the 3. I don't know.
Nobody's in the dunk contest, though, right? Nobody.
No, there's not the same. Dunker. Leon, don't think about it. My cat wants to jump on the table.
Name the 2 Knicks dunk contest champs. Go. Knicks 2 dunk contest champs.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah, that's easy. Who's the other one?
And then Walker.
There you go. Boom. That was a trivia question today on MSG. I was so mad. I was like, that's the easiest
question. And I'm the
question
Net
ever.
fan.
Yeah. Anyway.
What is this?
That was ridiculous.
Knicks fans, man.
Yeah.
Simple
All right.
stuff.
Let's end the podcast.
All right. See y'all. See you guys.
Have a good one.